Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 81 of Did You Bring the Hummus podcast. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. Did You Bring the Hummus is a podcast for all things vegan. Episodes post every Monday on your favorite podcast app. Before we get started, I have one very important question for you. Did you bring the hummus? Do you love the podcast? Would you get a kick out of hearing a shout out from me on a future episode? How about time to connect virtually with me and other listeners quarterly or monthly? Check out the show notes for the link. If you're a vegan business who would like to sponsor episodes of Did You Bring the Hummus, I'd love to chat. Find my contact details in the show notes. Are you looking for one-on-one support on your public speaking journey? I am now offering individual sessions and packages to help you get started in improving your public speaking skills. Send me an email at info@didyoubringthehummus.com to get on the wait list. Today, I am joined by Mariquita Solis. Mariquita is a dedicated vegan empowerment coach and transformational speaker who leads the animal ministry at Unity North with passion. Certified in plant-based nutrition from eCornell and a Reiki healer, she brings vast knowledge to her role. Mariquita orchestrates immersive forest walks at the Chattahoochee Nature Center in Roswell, Georgia, infusing each with transformative essence. Committed to fostering connections with nature, she volunteers with wildlife and serves on the board of the Earth Care Ministry, inviting others to join her on a journey of harmonious coexistence with the natural world. From Mariquita's vegan journey to asking the trees for guidance to expressing who we are to the fullest, Mariquita and I go on a beautiful journey together. Hey, Mariquita, thanks so much for joining me. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait for this conversation. I'm really looking forward to it. So we're going to jump right in. Tell me about your vegan journey.
Well, it started in I think 95. Well, it started with my brother saying, "Hey, I want you to watch this video." And I thought, well, what is it, and so it turned out to be a 3-minute Meet Your Meat video by
Mm.
with Alec Baldwin narrating. And wow, that was a shock. So immediately I went vegetarian. And I was living actually in Nashville, North Carolina. Then I remember standing out as a vegetarian. So then between then and now, I was vegetarian, vegetarian back. I didn't have much support, I think was the main thing. And I just, being a human being who doesn't always, isn't always, she isn't always perfect. So, yeah. So then back to vegan though. And well, this time it seems like now I have many friends, and it's so much easier than back then. I think, and I know, not I think. I mean, for me personally, I can only speak for myself, though. So, yeah, and it's really become, as a vegan empowerment coach, it's really become more than it was back then. So, and I'm wiser at 56 than I was in my many, many, many years ago. So I know how to navigate life better.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You make a really good point with sharing the back and forth, right? Of yeah, being vegetarian, going vegan, going back to being vegetarian is I think there are a lot of vegans, and probably especially when they're around other vegans, feel almost afraid to admit that. Is that's my story too, is that I went vegetarian in 2001 after getting an issue of PETA's Animal Times, so PETA had an effect on me too, and I went vegetarian overnight. I was the only vegetarian I knew. I didn't even compute vegan at that point, but once I learned about vegan, then I knew that's what I wanted to do, and so I when I first went vegetarian, I was living at home with my parents. I was able to give away all of my leather sneakers, my handbags, like anything that was made from animals, I was able to replace because I didn't have anything else to spend my money on. And I so the only thing that kept me really from being vegan was eggs and dairy. And I but then when I finally went vegan, then I went back to being vegetarian. I was dating, people thought it was weird. I remember a cousin of mine once was so upset by me being vegetarian that she said, "Call me when you're normal again." By the way, I've never been normal again. So,
Were you
nor
ever normal was the question.
right. But I wanted to just briefly touch on that, and thank you for sharing that there was a bit of back and forth because I think that, a lot of my listeners aren't vegetarian or vegan, and to hear that, life just happens sometimes and things get in the way, but when you're committed to something, you find a way to get there, but it's not always a straight line, right?
Right, and I think it's very easy, and I feel like people get angry and say that those people weren't really vegan. So, I mean, I think that's very harsh. I mean, we do like, I was doing the best I could, and I felt
Mhm.
like, yes, I was vegan, right? And I slipped up because I'm a human being, and I mean, I don't even know if I call it a slip, I just was overwhelmed in times in my life, and and there's many things. I mean, many, many factors, emotional eating, and food addictions, right? And then
Yeah,
availability. All these things play into it. So, I mean, it's easy to cast stones, but I think what's more beautiful, is being compassionate and understanding people's journey and allowing it to be, like you said, it's not a linear journey. No one I don't I really don't believe that, it's just it's all of our experiences that build this, right? Maybe I was able to see more, connect more with animals than the other person, so it might have been easier for me, where someone else might have not had any experiences with animals as a child in their life. So why can't they go vegan so quickly like me? What's wrong with them?
right.
Right? I mean, so everyone is different, and I mean, I have friends also that are on the spectrum, right? And I know that change is very hard for them. So who am I to say, "Oh, well, you can do it. It's easy. Just go
Yeah.
watch a video and you'll feel horrible and then you can change." I don't think life is like that. I only know what it's like for me, and
Mhm.
I don't have any right to say what it's like for anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I know that I too have these moments where I feel like, but I should push harder because then I think about the animals and like, well, they're still suffering and they're suffering a lot. And it is unconscionable and difficult to talk about and think about because it is so awful. But then you think like, well, if I push too hard, maybe they don't ever change. And if I had just given them a little bit of grace and not assumed to know their experience and who they are and what they're dealing with, maybe I would have been one of the seeds that was planted and something would have happened later that would have made them make that change. It's such a delicate balance, isn't it?
It is a delicate balance, you're right, and I have a lot of as a vegan empowerment coach, I have a lot of people come to me that are ashamed to admit that their partner is not vegan, and
Mm,
so, my boyfriend is not vegan, and, I readily admit it, and I still love him. I see that he eats a lot or animal-friendly food than if he wasn't with me. His awareness is greater. He also speaks up for vegans. He says things and I'm like, "Wow, look what he's saying," so it's wonderful, right? So, yeah, and I'm not gonna be ashamed of that. I'm not gonna be ashamed because
yeah.
my job to like, I actually was on a live stream with Paige Parsons Roche of, Unchained TV, and we talked about, dating pre-vegans, and I loved what she said, which was like, "It's not our job to change anyone," right? And when we just come out and say, "I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to turn you into vegan," then that's such a, oh, I mean, you can finally breathe, right? And
Yeah.
we can all breathe and we can live and we can be accepting of each other. We can learn from each other, right? That's not stopping learning and that's not stopping growth, but it's allowing and it's so freeing for us to be kind and compassionate because that's the only way that this world will heal is through love
Yeah.
and compassion.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. When I got together with my now husband, he was not vegan, not even like he was one of those guys that was like, "That's great for you. It's not for me." And he too started to pay attention to what I was doing, what I was eating, and I was actually vegetarian when we first got together, and I went vegan about a year after we got married. And the whole time he just kind of witnessed what was going on, and he would ask questions, and sometimes he'd hear some hard truths that he was not happy to hear about. But but yeah, he would start to eat the foods I was eating, and now he's vegan, and he's been vegan for a few years. So I consider myself very lucky. And but it didn't stop me from seeing the beauty of the person that he is. And, I would have missed out on a wonderful relationship if in at that time in my life I had been like, I am not willing to be with someone who isn't vegan. I feel differently now that I've been lucky enough to be with someone vegan, where if there were some unfortunate circumstance where I wasn't married anymore and decided to explore dating again, I think I probably would have a different feeling about it. But I think it's just because 'cause I'm spoiled now maybe.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah, it would definitely be um, very peaceful to be with a vegan, and I
Mhm.
understand that. So, yeah, and it's a very tricky question. I mean,
Yeah.
we really have to follow your own heart, and but you have to also understand that all relationships have ups and downs. There's going to be, sadness in all of them. So you have to weigh it out, right?
Mhm.
Is what are the person's qualities, and what are their virtues, right?
Yeah.
And how does it all play out? Are they the vegan ally, like Melanie Joy says? Are they the ones that, lift you up for
Mhm.
your voice to be accelerated for the world, right?
Yeah.
And really be thankful for that. There's just it's a very complicated question, and something that only a person can answer for themselves.
Mhm. Yeah. Hmm. So you've mentioned a couple times about being a vegan empowerment coach. What does that mean?
Well, many times, so I studied feminine empowerment coaching, and many times we're creating just from this place of lack.
Mm.
And so what is lack does not create power. And as vegans, we I see this all the time. We'll go into this thinking that nobody's going to listen to me. And we'll call people names, and then and that's lack. And so when we're trying to create from dehumanizing others and calling them names and saying,
Mm.
they're not going to listen. So that's all not enough. We're creating from not enough. So what I do is I shift people into this is enough. You are enough. Your voice is enough. We're going to start off from a place of power, which is combined with love,
Mm.
allowing. And then you see results when you know that all of life is supporting you, right? That we're coming together. Um, that you're a beautiful child of the universe and you're so loved. And we don't start off with like, I'm not skinny enough or I'm not, strong enough. And
Mm.
that's just, we start off from loving ourselves and acknowledging everything we do. We let go of agendas and we celebrate, right? And maybe I'll screw up on this podcast, but I'm gonna go to bed thinking, wow, I had the to do this podcast and to still smile and go on. And I'm thankful that I am courageous, right?
Mhm.
And I let go of any agendas. I'm not going to worry about whether you liked what I said, even though I'd hope you do, right? I hope everyone listening, but I
Yeah.
realize not everybody's going to resonate with that. So I accept it, right? And that's when you live from a place of power. It's when you accept and we move on, right? So yeah, maybe half the people didn't like this podcast, but I still go on and I'm happy because I'm doing what's right in my heart.
Ah, that just feels so good even to just hear you talking about it. So I can imagine to be in that space with you and exploring that as one of your clients, just how meaningful that is and life changing. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's a really a beautiful dance between all of us. I mean, I work with women and also not just women, but in a group coaching now that we have, and we're really looking at women's issues. We're being repressed. Our voice is being repressed, and we have people that, beautiful ladies that don't love their voice. And it's really not that they don't love their voice. It's that they were taught not to love their voice. And so it's some a hatred of part of their own being,
Mm,
So I mean their hatred of a part of this feminine energy that's so beautiful, that's so is labeled as weak by society, right? And so we diminish ourselves, and the feminine is so beautiful and so captivating and elegant and flowing and discovery, right? And when we
mm,
embrace that, we really can stand tall. I really use a lot of animal wisdom in my coaching programs. So looking at um I think it's the spotted hyena. So she is the strong, she's the aggressor, she's the and physically bigger. And so she's the leader. And so she's recognized in her society, in nature. She's not put down, she's not repressed, she's admired, right? She has a role to play, and it's important. But where we are in a different situation as women, right? We are taught to be quiet. We're taught to be ashamed of ourselves if we speak up. But in the natural world, we have the lioness who's out there, taking care of her pack, right?
mhm,
Taking care of her pride, actually. So, um, but yes, and she's strong and she's graceful and beautiful and very wise. So I love the animal kingdom and learning from them. And I love to be able to tie that into my coaching and nature, learning from the trees and connecting with the earth. It's the lessons are right in front of our faces. So and and the air that we breathe, right? And the sun that
mhm,
welcomes us every single day. How can we not be joyful? That sun is there, whether we see her or not, loving us, warming this planet.
mhm. That's just so lovely. This idea that we have this power and this ability and this creative force and that we don't get to use it because so many of us have been taught to be quiet. And if you had asked me 6 years ago, "Would you do a podcast?" I would have said no, because I had spent as much as I wanted to be a voice, I went vegetarian back in 2001. This has been a big part of my life, more than half of my life now. This has been significant to me, and I wanted to be a voice. I wanted to be a person that people turned to or heard from and thought, "That's interesting. I wanna know more. Maybe I can do something different in my own life based on what I've just learned." But I had spent so much time of being told by partners, by family, "Nobody cares what you have to say. Keep keep quiet. It's not interesting. No one cares. No one's interested." And then I got to Toastmasters, and this room full of people that I had never met cared what I had to say. And it didn't matter what I was talking about. My first speech was a mess of like, these are the things I like. My second speech was about being left-handed and how that, changes the way that I interact in the world. I wasn't getting deep. Since then, I've gotten very deep in some of the things that I've told my club. But even these very kind of superficial things, they wanted to know more, and they cared, and they had questions, and they had thoughts about what I had told them. To have people say to you, "You matter. What you have to say matters." it opens up a whole other world that you don't even know you can access.
Yes, you're right. Your eyes are open. It's like you're seeing some I've never seen people
Mhm.
accept me like this. It's acceptance or like people care. Wow, look at what I can do now. You know,
Mhm.
that found of having that community behind you, right? It's so
Yeah.
important. It's
Yeah,
life changing.
it is. It is. I love the way you talked about connecting with nature. How do you work that into because like in our brief chat that we had before the podcast, I'm into all that too. So, how how do you bring that into your coaching? Or do you?
Well, what's funny is the universe always knows. She's always watching. So last week, another coach told me how she had heard of coaching outside and doing walks with their clients. And I thought, wow, that would be something I'd like to do
Mhm,
walks. And then as I'm developing programs for forest bathing now, and I am certified in the Reiki now.
mhm,
Um, um, so I got a call from a lady who was really grieving the loss of her pet.
mm,
And, so I asked, "Would you like to do this outside in nature?" And she said, "Yes." And so it was like the universe knew what I wanted, and so here she comes. And how beautiful that is, that through nature we will heal, through the feminine we'll heal that compassion and also tying into that masculine strength inside of her, the welcoming that also. So just tying this all together and allowing the process and see what's going to be revealed through nature as
mhm,
we walk and as we embrace trees, embrace the rocks and life and honor them in a different way than as we're just as used to typically walk through on a stroll without noticing, without thanking, thanking
mm,
the trees, right? Thanking and asking, "May I be with you?" Right? What do you have to share with me today? Right? Asking them, "How can you help us heal?" Because that's really what I want to do. I want to go to a tree and we will be there. How can you help us heal?
mm,
Put our hands on the tree, feeling that love and sending that love and just, this is organic, so who knows what's gonna happen, what other what other
mhm.
element of force of nature will be there to heal. So I'm excited about that and tying all this in
Yeah,
and also connecting with nature and the animals is every living being is important. They all have a role here. And
mhm.
that's really what I do also as the leader of the animal ministry.
Mm,
Right? So
yeah.
I don't say that I think they know I'm vegan, but without saying, vegan, 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 how important animals are, how all of them and I start off with a grounding exercise prayer, honoring all living beings, every single one of them. We had, it was at the blessing of the animals. And so Reverend Richard, I go to Unity North, and he said, "Why don't we" somehow it was organically created our conversation, right? Why don't we bring out the animals that are the lesser animals, the ones that are hated?
Mhm,
So I made out note cards. I was so excited. And then he came down with a bug. So I did it by myself, which was fine. I wanted to represent it. So I made cards of all the animals that were hated, like the cockroach, right? The skunk,
mhm,
the raccoon. And so everyone drew one. And so everyone had to advocate for that animal that they had. And so it was beautiful. I mean, even hearing, like, I don't know what their purpose is. And another lady said, "Well, it's funny that I got this because I was just thinking about this animal and I didn't know their purpose. And now here we are talking about them. And now I've discovered, right?" So it was a
mhm,
beautiful lesson that we love all of God's creatures. And so I'm
mm,
happy to say many times, I mean, if it seems to be in alignment as the leader of the animal ministry that I would be vegan, right? It's
mhm.
all in
Yeah.
alignment. So, I mean, if someone asked, I would say, well, I can't do that. I can't eat animals, right? I'm the leader of
Right.
the animal ministry.
Yeah.
So that's my out, right?
There you go. I recently saw, um, in one of the vegan groups that I'm in, there was a farm animal sanctuary, a small one, that had posted that they were having a fundraising event, and part of the fundraising event was going to include a raffle, and it was a meat raffle. Yeah. So, you hear this a lot with things like cat and dog rescue. There are a lot
Mhm.
of people involved in cat and dog rescue that have not made the connection to veganism. And you can almost understand that because here in the US, people typically are not consuming cats and dogs, and they are not factory farmed in the US as food. So you can almost be like, okay, I get why they haven't made this connection yet. But this farm animal sanctuary that has taken in animals from who have escaped from a slaughter truck, or from those who have been taken from different farms where they were being neglected, they chose to have this raffle that included, and they have pigs, chickens, cows at their farm, and they were planning to raffle off chicken parts, pig parts, and cow parts. So, of course, vegans heard this and they were like, "What are you doing? How have you not made the connection?" And their excuse was, "We're in an area where people don't understand veganism. So, in order to raise money, this is the best way to do it." And they got so much pushback that they then announced, like, "Okay, we've canceled that. We're not going to do it." But there is still even people who are involved with animals. So you saying like, "I'm in the animal ministry, like I have to be vegan." So I would think, "Oh yeah, isn't everybody in the animal ministry vegan?" But there are these pockets where you might think, "Oh, of course that makes sense. Everybody must be this way." And then you find out, "Oh no. They in fact are not."
I know, it is shocking, isn't it? Yeah, it is very shocking. I mean, even veterinarians, you think, "What are you doing?" Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because especially yeah, in that environment, all of the suffering that they witness as a veterinarian, it's this cognitive dissonance where, yeah, the cats and the dogs or the rabbits I see or the birds I see, they deserve to have loving homes and be cared for, but they're not the same as these other animals that we eat. And there's like that disconnect. But
I
why
know.
aren't they why aren't they the same?
I don't know, but I said that at the last animal ministry meeting. I said, "Here we are, and we have our cats and dogs here, right, that everyone loves, but these other animals," right? And I don't even remember what I said. Yeah, I think I just said this in a, that I'm here to stand for all the animals, right? We do
Mhm.
love these favorite animals, but let's bring our attention. And I actually got some wonderful feedback from a few people saying, "Wow, I love how you're really connected to all of
Mm.
the living beings." And so, I mean, it's really good to hear that. The next day after that, I got a beautiful email from someone, really affirming my dedication to all of them.
Mm.
So it's not falling on deaf ears.
Yeah. Nope. I like to think of that too, right? Every time we have a conversation, every time we show up as vegans, we are showing people a different way. And whether they realize that it's registered to them or not in that moment, we don't know where that will take them. And that kind of leads me to this other thing that you and I talked about is being an activist in your everyday life and how that shows up. And I think I like to say that I think if you are vegan, you are an activist. Whether you never talk about it or you talk about it every minute you get a chance, people still see what we're doing.
No, I think that too. How it
Mhm.
it is activism. When you are in the Sure, your money counts, right? What you're buying counts. So
Mhm.
that is, you're making a choice and um, so yeah, it's a conscious decision to support or not support, and that's activism. So I think you're right. How do you sprinkle that into everything you're doing? I mean, I think like, well, I drive around with my license, I mean, my little stickers on my car, right?
Mhm.
So I think a lot of times I forget about it. And then I think all the people that are behind me are reading that vegan sticker, vegan for
Yep.
the animals, vegan for the planet, vegan for everything, right? So and then again, as the leader of the earth care, bringing in the devastation to the earth. I mean, I'm on the board actually, not the leader, but I'm on the board of Earth Care at my church. So, but bringing in that element that when we hurt the animals, we hurt the earth
Mm.
again. And so that's a way to sprinkle it in, and also sprinkle it in the healthy living group, that when we're eating animals, we're harming our body.
Mhm.
So I do that, and I bring in plant-based people, speakers there to the group, and really trying to also bring in plant-based foods. Also, when we have our get-togethers, I'm going to be showing eating our way to that's coming up in a couple months. So that was exciting that I'm getting them from my church to do that, and in the Earth Care group. So again, this is tied into treating animals with respect. So I'm also going to be able to get up in front of the church and talk a little bit about the whole earth care group, but each one of us has a different, we each have a different thing we're focused on, element, and I'm focused on the animals. So I'm excited to get up there and talk, right? Nothing's
Yeah.
gonna hold me back from that.
Yeah.
They're like, who volunteers? I do. I sure do, right? So let me get up there. So here she comes again, that crazy vegan. No, but no, I really try to be loving and kind. And that, to me, that is veganism. That's sprinkling veganism, loving all and not being judgmental. And then, people asking me, like, when I mean, every time I go out, right? They see what I order, they see what's in the cart, they see my
Mhm.
my car with the bumper stickers and things, and my shirts and my hats. And so, yeah, I'm not I never will deny who I am, right? I think there's a, like you're saying, I mean, there's a gentle way to share, right? Without being condescending. But
Mhm.
I mean, when I'm out with friends and I order and they see, or somebody offers me chocolate, oh, you can't have chocolate. Well, actually, yes, I can. Chocolate is vegan, right? That it's the
Mhm.
milk that's not, put into the chocolate, right? Or you can't have
Yep.
this, but yes, I can, right? I'm making a choice, right? And so it's about how you speak. Do you speak compassionately with
Mm.
people? And veganism is about compassion. So it's about compassion to all living beings. How can I not be compassionate to every living being?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, again, then I'm only compassionate to cats and dogs and not to cows, or I'm only compassionate to this certain amount of person that has the same beliefs as me. I mean, I have to accept everyone. I don't have to, but I choose to accept people where they are. And we might not have the same beliefs. And if someone is cruel and mean, I choose to focus on that they're hurt, right? Not
Mm.
that they're terrible people or bad people, but they're hurt people. And my heart goes out to them because I've
Mhm.
been there. I've been one of
Mhm.
those hurt people. And
Yeah.
thank God I'm standing now, and now I'm doing the healing instead of the just trying to swim, right? Trying to keep my head above water. And so many people are trying to keep their heads above water, and they can't even get to, how in the world could I be vegan? I can barely pay my light bill, right? I don't have any money to buy food. How can I can't even, I'm barely surviving.
We need so much more of you in the world. So many more people like you. Like, we can see it, right? Because there are people like you. We know it's possible. And then we're just hit with, like, every time you turn on the television, or sometimes you're out in the world in a stressful environment and you see the people who are not showing up as their best selves because of whatever else is hurting them or what they've been through. And we just, like, no one seems to, not no one, a lot of people don't seem to have the opportunity even to step back and go, I don't like this about myself. I would like the opportunity to change X, Y, and Z, or how I approach this situation or that person. And, to approach people with that compassion. And it also, that compassion has to be for ourselves too.
Right. The
I
more compassion we have for ourselves, the more we can have for others.
Yeah. Yeah. When I have a shirt from one of the farm sanctuary walk for animals, I think from 2010, and it says compassion for all on it. And I was wearing it during, I was in a therapy session years ago, and I wore that shirt, just happened to be the shirt I had on. And during my therapy session, I was really just kind of berating myself because that's something I've been working through, is that negative self-talk and trying to appreciate who I am instead of all the things that society tells me I should be, and hating myself for not meeting expectations and whatnot. And my therapist stopped me and she was like, I would like you to read your shirt. And she's like, compassion for all includes you. And so that applies in those situations. And I think as vegans, it also applies to this idea of bearing witness, which I think is very important, but we have to know where we're at in a moment. And, there are videos, especially since the internet, right? Like when I first went vegetarian, I saw Meat Your Meat as well, but there weren't videos everywhere that I could access to see all of the awful things that were happening. But now the videos are everywhere, and they're constantly being shared on social media, which is important, but we don't always need to re-traumatize ourselves when they come up in order to be a good vegan. And so that's something I like to try to remind the vegans of as well. Like, you know what's happening, you're making choices, you're showing up in a different way to not contribute to that. So we don't always have to bear witness to every single video that shows up in our social media feed.
Oh, exactly. Because I've had clients that tell me that that they feel like they have to watch it because the animals are suffering, so they have to suffer too. But how can that help us if we're in that state of immense pain? I mean, we
Mhm.
can't get up, right? We have to empower ourselves. We have to have self-love, and we have to have acceptance for ourselves, doing the best we can. And the best changes every day, right? My best today might not have been the best I could give yesterday, but to say, I'm perfectly imperfect here
Mhm.
and I'm doing the best I can. And I honor myself at night for doing my best, right? I might have failed a billion times, but I failed forward, and I'm looking for the lessons, right, in
Mm.
life. And what did I learn from this? You know, um, we went out to do a little laughter yoga and sound journey the other day. And for some reason, it wasn't promoted.
Hmm.
And there was hardly any people there, but which was fine. But the people that were there were loving it, right? But the fact that it was a retirement home. And so I what I learned was to make sure to say, not to assume they're going to promote it there, but to
Mm.
say, listen, we really need you to promote this because but despite that, the universe showed me that, you know, I got great feedback from the staff that the residents were calmer, that even the ones in the rooms that weren't attending, that
Mm.
their anxiety dropped. So it affected everyone, because how could it not? I mean, because of all of our energy affects, right? That ripples of sound, the ripples of laughter. We were laughing and
Mhm.
having fun, the few of us, but it was beautiful and nothing went wrong. If I was in the past, I would say, gosh, this was a big mistake. We really mucked up, but no, I say it is what it is. And I'm thankful for those thankful for the beautiful feedback and the compassion they had to
Mm.
in that connection with us, laughing and listening to beautiful sounds of the earth.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, laughter is so magical, isn't it? You can be out somewhere and someone could be having a conversation you can't hear, you don't know why they're laughing, but they are laughing and now you feel better and you maybe even start laughing. And you don't need to know the context. It's just such a beautiful sound and joyful way to connect without having to say anything.
It really is, and it's just that vibrational joy,
Mhm.
that we were spreading along to each other. I love it. It's so powerful, and as adults, we rarely laugh, and it
Mm.
yeah, I feel like one of my friends was saying his son told him, "Well, you're play video games, dad?" And he was like, "When do you get too old for that?" Right? "When do we get too old for that?" And someone else told me, I said, "Well, I'm proud of you for trying." And they said, "Well, why are you talking to me like a kid?" I said, "We should all be, not a
Yeah.
child. You to be proud that you tried at age 5, age 10, 20, 30, 40, to 100. Be proud that you
Mhm.
tried. It doesn't quit when you're 7 years old, right?"
Right.
So it's these funny things that we think that we've outgrown, and then our no wonder we're sad.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, there is this, like, weird thing that, like, once you're adult, once you're an adult, you can't enjoy things. I'm like,
You can't, and you can't make
yeah.
mistakes. You can't be human.
Mhm.
So
I wanna go back. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I wanted to go back because you mentioned forest bathing, and I think this is something that I think the listeners would enjoy. I've done it too, but I'd love for you to just kinda describe what that is, and maybe how the listeners, if they find themselves out in the wild, can engage in it.
Well, actually, it's a healing practice that came from Japan, where they actually prescribe forest bathing
Oh,
to
wow.
their patients. So yes, it's an immersive experience, and it's a very meditative, quiet experience. So it's not just going hiking, but you go and you pause, and we could, like, if I was leading one, I would first honor the earth
Mm,
and thank the beings there that are under my feet that I don't know, that I don't see, the soil for holding us together, right? The
mm,
rains and honoring the forest, every blade of grass. And then we go and maybe sit quietly and just take in the breath of the forest.
mm,
And one of the ones I recently went to, at Just Love Forest in Rome, Georgia. My friend has like 700 acres up there. And so he led it and he said, "Let's stop." And we stopped and I had an experience with the rock. Right. So I looked at this rock and I thought, wow, there's a lot of living organisms here.
mm,
Right. And I asked, I asked, "How old are you?" And I just began to have to question and to learn that this was an old rock in the cold elements that was surviving and providing this habitat and homes for all these other living beings, and to see with greater eyes that this isn't just a rock. This is a a life force, right?
yeah,
And to connect and say thank you for this time of sharing, right? And that I've learned that you're important, just like I am. You're beautiful, just like I am. And these beings count on you, your being, and how connected we all are. I'm learning from you, and I thank you. So that was just one of my experiences that I had. And I moved on to a tree, this old elderly tree. And I don't even know if she was alive or not, but
mm,
she was resting against another tree and who was holding her up. And I saw the friendship and I imagined all the root system. And as I was holding onto these trees and feeling the energy of their love, and as it just spread through this whole root system of the earth,
mm,
again, the connectedness. And it was just very, very quiet, profound experiences looking at their scars and seeing them as beautiful beings,
mm,
just like me with all of my scars and acknowledging all of us.
yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh. The connection to the earth, it's like the older I get, the more it makes sense to me. It made sense to me as a kid, then I lost it somewhere along the way, and now it's come back so strongly, and I feel so honored and grateful to be able to put my feet on the ground, to smell that forest air. I was on a walk just the other day, and there was a bald eagle sitting up in a tree, and I stood there, I don't know, 10 minutes just admiring this incredible bird. And people saw me, I was taking photos because at first I couldn't identify what I knew was a big bird, but I couldn't identify what kind of bird it was. I'm taking photos. I have this bird app that I live and die by. So I was like, I'm going to take all these photos to load into the bird app. And I stood there after I was done taking photos and just really just took in. And the bird's watching me. I'm watching this bird, and I see the um the breeze, like, ruffling their feathers, and people are walking by, and they look up, and because they see me, and they're like, "What is this woman doing in the middle of nothing, staring up at the sky?" And so they figure out where I'm looking, and no one else stopped, and I was sad, but then also really profoundly just feeling connected to the wind, to the bird, to the tree, the branch that the bird was sitting on, and I'm so thankful to be able to reconnect that way. It really just it makes such a difference in how I show up because I'm so much more grounded by this simple act of just being outside, breathing in the air for a minute, you know?
Right, and we're missing that. I think, I mean, your role is so important. I mean, that you see this and people can come to you for help with that. And all of your spiritual experiences and your spiritual wisdom, right? To bring people back to earth and bring people back to their souls and to that really power inside of them. Because we're in this society that's rushing, 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 and we've completely lost, I mean, maybe not completely, but we've really lost touch with this beautiful earth. I mean, we're just devastating, doing devastating damage to her because we've lost connection with her. We don't see her beauty. We are takers.
Yeah.
Takers, takers, takers. What can we do? So I'm thankful for people like you that are a giver, an earth giver, right? Healer. So yes, thank you, Kimberly.
Yeah, we are in this together for sure. And I am thankful for all the work that you're doing. And I love this church that you're involved in too. Like you have all these like you care about the animals, you've got this animal ministry, you have this thing called Earth Care. Like, how lucky are you to have that? And people who are learning from, and how lucky are they to have you, where they're learning from you just by showing up and doing their own spiritual thing and then connecting with someone so special who is like, hey, isn't all this great? But here's all this other stuff that we can bring into it, and all these other beings that we can connect to, and really just an incredible way to enhance your life.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to go to Unity North, and the founders actually were based. They made sure the Bibles were not made of leather.
Oh,
So, right, it's something that's well known we talk about, but yeah, it was founded on that.
hmm.
So yeah, it's beautiful. I'm very, very blessed to go there. And you, I mean, I encourage everyone to get out there and get in your churches or your organizations and start your own groups, right? Start your own ministries, start your own earth care
Hmm.
group.
Yeah.
So, and your own healthy living group, get those things going, right? And this is all connection back to the earth and
Mhm.
living beings.
Yeah. Marquita, I feel like we could talk about this forever, and I love it. And I really am so thankful for your time, for the way that you show up in the world, and for all the beautiful, amazing things that you are doing. But I've got one more question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
I wonder what it could be. Tell me about your favorite hummus or your favorite way to eat hummus or a hummus related story.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I guess the universe was directing me to get some hummus today. And I thought, oh, well, this is, perfect, perfect timing, right? So, no, I love eating roasted red pepper hummus.
Mm.
And I've actually made some hummuses before, which is always fun. But I I love eating it with apples and grapes because I think,
Oh.
yeah, it's very fresh and crisp, and also it's not as heavy,
Mm.
So, yeah, I love the apples and hummus combo, and that's really what I want to go with. I mean, for my own health, it's
Mhm.
because I could eat a whole box of crackers with it.
Yes.
I think,
Been there.
Right, so let me do the other route, which is very flavorful grapes and other fruit, whatever fruit you wanna mix with the hummus, try it out.
I have never once thought about pairing hummus with fruit.
Pear and hummus, like you said, pairing.
I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah, that made me think pear and hummus, yes, I'm gonna try that. Yeah.
Yeah, carrots, broccoli, cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes, those are fruit technically, right?
Mhm.
But I never thought about apples or grapes or pears. I'm gonna give that a try this week.
Well, great.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. My quirky self, I don't know where it came from, but
It
anyway, I'm glad.
Yeah, and it does make sense to me, though. Once you said it, I was like first I registered, "I've never thought of that before," and then I realized that already sounds delicious.
It
Yeah.
is delicious.
Well, thank you for that inspiration.
You're welcome.
Mariquita, this has been wonderful, and I cannot thank you enough for being here with me tonight. I am so grateful for this time we've had together.
Yes, I'm grateful for you too. The first time I ever saw you, I thought, "Wow, there's someone that I have to meet." And now, I mean, again, you came back to me. The universe heard me and she circled back,
Yep.
circle us back together. So thank you so much, Kimberly. This has been I'm very electrified and I hope I can sleep tonight because I'm very wired now. So I'll blame you.
Yes, you're welcome, and I'm sorry.
I love it.
Welcome back. Are you excited to get out there and engage in forest bathing? What will you say to the trees next time you're around them? What compassionate choices can you make today? To connect with Mariquita, visit her website, mariquitasolis.com. Find her on YouTube at Mariquita Solis Vegan Empowerment Coaching and on Instagram at harmonic_earth_healers. The links, of course, will be in the show notes. I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're loving it, please give Did You Bring the Hummus a 5-star rating and leave a review. It's an easy way to keep supporting the show. Be sure to share these episodes with your friends. If you're finding something good here, they will too. If you're a vegan or know a vegan who would be a great fit for the podcast, follow the Be a Guest link in the show notes. Fill out the quiz and I'll be in touch. Get on my mailing list and grab 3 super fun and easy recipes as a thank you. Don't forget, if you love the podcast and you would enjoy hearing a shout out from me on a future episode or connecting virtually with me and other listeners, check out the show notes for the link. If you're a vegan business who would like to sponsor episodes of Did You Bring the Hummus, I'd love to chat. Find my contact details in the show notes. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Did You Bring the Hummus. Visit my website, didyouBringTheHummus.com, for more information about me, updates on what I'm working on, new podcast episodes, and all things vegan. Finally, I would love to hear from you. What do you need help with? Is there a topic you want to hear covered on a future episode? DM me on Instagram or send me an email at info@didyouBringTheHummus.com. Thanks for listening.